Hode, it's always good when we have you on. How are you, pal? Hello, Hode. We got him there, Laz. Hello, Hode.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Hode, you got us?
Yeah, I got you now. I was going to say, you're getting all the jokes in now before Frank Caliendo comes in, right?
Yeah, exactly right, man.
You're exactly right.
Exactly right. So let me ask you this, Hope. If you were to set Frank Caliendo with a voice talking about a particular subject, John Gruden, Madden, Pacino, what would you want to hear? And whose voice, what would you want to hear?
I would love to hear a pep talk in the locker room doing Al Pacino, just like the movie, what was the cool movie? Every single Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, every other Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, is it to a group of 8-year-olds?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work. Yeah,
funny.
not going to work. So, Hode, here we are as the Cardinals are opening up training camp today. Guys reporting. So the Sun Devils are what? 2 weeks away, roughly? Is that close enough?
Yeah, I think actually 2 weeks to the date because you can start fall camp 30 days before your season opener. Season opener is on September 5th, so August 5th is going to be the first day of fall camp.
So when you take a look at this roster right now, are you, and I know it's just paper, don't know who the starting quarterback is yet. You still have questions on this roster. How do you see this team then heading into the season, just on paper?
Look, I think on paper there really should not be a talent drop-off, from last year. I know folks are really going to point to the quarterback position because that's obviously the most visible position on any football team. But I feel that the winner of that quarterback battle is not going to be the lesser of three evils. It's going to be a very competent signal caller. I think that the rough year on offense, whether it was Sam Levitt or Jeff Sims last season, there were a lot of good lessons to be learned. Kenny Dillingham, going back to the Sun Bowl, said that he's going to get much more involved in the offense, and I think that's something that can really help the teams. And I got two great minds with him and Marcus Aurora working together. I think that is really going to help the offense quite a bit. I've been on your show previously talking about what a great job they did in the transfer portal with the wide receivers. I think you have a really good running back group. In terms of tight ends and this offensive line, I guess maybe those are the bigger question marks for me on offense. When I look on defense, I really think, again, you point to the transfer portal, they've done a great job replenishing a lot of talented outgoing seniors that are no longer on the team. So maybe my question mark's a little more on offense on those two positions I mentioned rather than the defense. But, again, I don't think there's going to be a major drop-off at all in talent from 2025.
Oh, you talked about how, Kenny wants to get more involved with the offense. Let's back up. How involved was he for the Sun Bowl, and how will he carry that on as far as involvement with Coach Arroyo?
Yeah, he was calling the plays in the Sun Bowl, and I think that you saw a very, very creative offense. And I know folks are going to point to the fact that Duke is not a world beater when it comes to the defensive unit and putting over 600 yards and 39 points in a bowl game where, a lot of people sometimes just, sleepwalk through it, and against a defense that wasn't that good to begin with. There's nothing really to get excited about. But I would also point to the fact that some of the star players on both sides of the ball for ASU were not playing that day. So I think that, the Sun Bowl gave Kenny Dillingham an opportunity to have several weeks to prepare with the game plan that he saw fit. So I think just seeing an offense that is not really going to be, targeting one wide receiver like we saw so many times with Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson last year, an offense that is really going to rely more and more on the running game, as good as the wide receiver group is going to be. I think those are going to be some of the big differences that we're going to see in 2026. And again, just to have Kenny Dillingham, who's a great offensive mind, aside from being a great head coach, really now team up with Marcus Arroyo and just have more of an imprint on the offense. I think it's really a blessing for the Sun Devils.
You talked about, the experience of Jeff Sims being an experienced backup. If Cutter Boley is the starter for the Sun Devils, I think, again, strategically wise, you can feel pretty comfortable with Mikey Keene, he's an experienced veteran. He's played a lot of football, a lot of big boy ball hold, that he's a guy that's very capable if he's not starting, backing up, and could fill that role if Boley does start and if he does go down to an injury.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'll preface my statement saying that I was very impressed with the true freshman at Jake Fetty. I don't know if he was a big surprise or a mild surprise for folks that saw him out there, but he really turned in a great spring practice. I also know from doing this nearly 27 years that sometimes you see true freshmen that are looking great in spring practice, and then the quote-unquote freshman factor starts kicking in fall camp. And, so to see Jake Fetty, even after he had a great spring practice, to end up being the number 3 quarterback on the depth chart, and to your point, having Boley as a starter, Mikey Keene as a veteran backup, somebody you can really count on if needed. I think that that may be the depth chart when the season opener does start. But again, I'm not taking anything away from Jake Fetty. I'm not taking away from the possibility that maybe Mikey Keene can really snag that starting job from Cutter Boley. But that's pretty much how I see the niche with the quarterbacks. And again, I feel that when it's all said and done, if Cutter Boley is the starter and Mikey Keene is the backup, that is not going to be a drop-off from what we saw from Sam Levitt last year and then Jeff Sims.
I'm with you on that. How disappointing is it to have LSU cancel like that, those games?
Man.
Well, I think the writing has been on the wall because, aside from the fact that, the SEC now going to 9 conference games, finally playing at the same, level as the big boys. We already saw Texas and Florida cancel home and homes with ASU. So for LSU to cancel that home and home was not a shocker at all. But aside from that, and, Manuch probably remembers it, here's ASU doing a favor for LSU, having a game that was supposed to take place, I think, 3 weeks after devastating Hurricane Katrina.
Yep.
And instead of traveling to Baton Rouge, had the game actually, move to Tempe. The first time that you saw Sparky not stomp the bus in the intro video. They also played the LSU team video. It was a big, kumbaya session. ASU even presented a check to LSU, to really help the hurricane victims. And, with all this goodwill, you thought, okay, well, LSU is not going to cancel or postpone a trip for ASU back to Baton Rouge when things were better. But LSU postponed, in my memory, I think maybe 3 times since 2005 until now, the eventual canceling of the series. So to say the writing was on the wall is just like saying everybody's air conditioning bills are a little higher this month.
It's interesting to bring that up. Jamarcus Russell is the quarterback for LSU.
Yeah,
they came back the last drive and won that. I think a touchdown pass. And interesting you bring that up. The check had like a $20,000 check to LSU because of all the above. And it's just I do bring up stuff that's like, you know what? I don't mean to say this overall for all the SEC, but it's so LSU-ish. Hey, guys, look, we helped you out. You're backing out. The only prominent team in the new schedule is really Texas A&M, Hogue. I mean, it's pretty much them. And then not to demean the other schools, but I will demean the other schools. They don't really help the Sun Devils as far as beating them and helping them with their power ranking, or I would put it this way, pretty much their ranking if it gets into a 12 or 16 team race.
Yeah, and look, I give them credit for not backing out, from at least the visit that ASU is going to take place, and hopefully they won't back out, from visiting Tempe in 2027. So I'll give Texas A&M their due. Maybe also from a cynical point of view, they didn't have enough time really to switch around the schedule because this was coming up pretty quick in games in 26 and 27. But yeah, I agree with you, Manuch. I mean, I think that it was very SEC-ish for LSU to do that. I mean, again, so much goodwill shown for ASU in such a horrible time, not only for New Orleans, but the entire state of Louisiana. And this is the payback that you get. It definitely does really rub people the wrong way. But yeah, I mean, ASU, I think maybe like a lot of other teams that are not in the SEC are having issues right now with their scheduling. Stanford, aside from Texas A&M, I believe is the only, Power Four team that's on the out-of-conference schedule, from here on out. You're playing teams like UNLV and San Diego State, technically in the Pac-12. Whether you want to call the new Pac-12 a power conference or not, that's probably a debate for another longer show. But, I think ASU is definitely going to have to maybe start playing a lot of those former Pac-12 teams like the LA Schools, Oregon State, Washington State. I think that's probably going to be, more in the future. Probably less travel for the team. So that's probably a benefit over there. But, ASU definitely has their work cut out for them in terms of the non-conference scheduling in the next several years. I
wouldn't mind that, Hogue, to be honest with you. I'd love to see him play Cal. I'd love to see him play UCLA, US. I mean, that just brings back what you just referenced about the Pac-12.
Yeah, and also think, there's so much travel involved. Forget about the game in London. You also have a game in Orlando, playing UCF. I believe ASU plays West Virginia, in the next year. So it would be nice to get a break, at least a non-conference, to hop on a plane, an hour and a half to the LA area, to the Bay Area, and play a game over there. And by the way, about the schedule, speaking about the London game, I really no issues with the talent that ASU is going to put on the field each and every Saturday. To me, the bigger issue over here, maybe you guys, discussed this previously, is the schedule. After that London game, ASU has 9 straight weeks of football. No open, no bye week out after that, bye week that takes place after the game against Kansas in London. That is where the wear and tear, that is where the depth of this team is going to be severely, tested. And let's not forget, before they hop on the plane, to cross the pond, they play at Texas A&M. After they come back, they got a game, I think, against Hawaii at home, and then they got Texas Tech on the road. A couple of weeks later, they got BYU on the road. It's a really brutal schedule for the Sun Devils. So even though we're talking about a talent level that I think is definitely going to be the same as the 2025, maybe even surpass it, that 9 weeks of straight football is really going to test the depth and the talent level for this team. So that to me is really more of an aspect that can hinder ASU season rather than just the sheer X's and O's or the talent level.
Always good, pal, when we catch up with you, especially when you've hit a home run downtown at Chase Field. So
everybody has.
Yeah, they have. You have a great day, Hogue. Thank you, pal.
Thank you, guys.
There you go.